Hello traders, welcome to today's Bitcoin trading update. What is the date today? It is the 15th of November. It is a Wednesday. This is the first Bitcoin update I've done in a couple of weeks. I was away and then I had a bunch of stuff to sort out. Still been doing the live streams, but we'll get back into this regular video slot for you guys every morning so that you can get the most timely updates on the Bitcoin price action. And I may also throw some altcoins into the mix as well, because they are the ones that are having a lot of fun right now. So starting off here with the obvious, Bitcoin, okay? We had the move to 38K. We got the move to 38K. Anyone who had been following, we knew the bird, the Bitcoin bird, was watching its prey. It was sat on a leaf at 38K. We came up, we killed it, and now we are full. We are happy and we are full. So we got that move to 38K, which is what we had been targeting. Despite the stupid TA, there was actual reason behind this. And yeah, a bit of a pullback. But even this, very technical, okay? So if you were watching yesterday's live stream, we were holding that previous week EQ. And you remember we had the CPI data yesterday. We were looking for either a spike up in order to look for some short positions, or a spike down to take out the previous day low in order to look for some long positions. Now, we had that first move up. So if you've been following the ES and the NASDAQ, they absolutely ripped yesterday. We're actually kind of close to all-time highs on those assets now, which is ridiculous to think, whilst Bitcoin is just chilling out. But yeah, very much an up market, very much a bull market for all of the assets that we like to trade, which is Bitcoin, crypto, and the US indices. So going on to Bitcoin, the drop yesterday. Okay, so we got that move up. If we go on to the very super duper duper low time frames, then it was here that we had our CPI data. Okay, so we had that spike, and if we put the VWAP onto this, we came into those outer VWAP bands, which is what we had been targeting to take some liquidity from the session. We were looking at this being internal. If price moved up, then we were looking for a short to take out the lows, and if price moved to the bottom, we were looking for a long to come and take out the highs. Now, that continued throughout the day, so we had that spike up, and then we had the pullback. Now, this was a very technical pullback. I mean, very, very straightforward. So look at the levels on the right-hand side of this. What did we do? We took out the previous week low. Very, very easy. Okay, there was a bunch of stops down here, but we just came down, took out the previous week low. We cleaned up the NPOCs that had been left behind from a 4-hour time frame, wick below them, close above, and holding the naked points of control that we had left. Now, when we're in a range, and when we're in a range-bound environment, and even when we're trending, we want to go back and test these things. We want to be taking liquidity to fuel moves up. We want to be back testing naked points of control, because that is where there is significant interest in the chart. So if I do turn on the session volume profile here, you can see when they load up, these are the two. So I've, depending on what time zone you have and what chart, they're going to be slightly different, but you can see like where I've got these NPOCs labeled. We came through, swept both of them, taking out the previous week low. And what we also have, if we do a fixed range volume profile from this entire range, we had the range POC down there also. And if that isn't enough for you, Fibonacci retracement from our low to our high, we came into the golden pocket. Okay, so holding above that 618 and getting a decent bounce off of this so far. Now, do I think that this is big old bullish and that we're going to be continuing to higher prices? Quite possibly. Okay, it is a buy the dip mode right now. As we saw, even with this dump yesterday, a lot of altcoins are still continuing to make new highs. You'll know the stuff that I'm in right now if you've been watching the live streams and if you've been paying any attention on Twitter. These assets are still flying. They're very, very healthy. And for Bitcoin to correct, test the POCs, sweep those previous week lows without going any lower, there's no real damage on the chart at all here. We can see that we've got, from a market structure perspective, a high, a low, a high, a low, a high. And in this instance, that's not really a low. You never took out the high. So this is just putting in a new low that keeps market structure intact. Depending on any of these, I mean, that high, Yeah, that one did. So yeah, you can use this as a low, and we're fine. So unless we start closing candles like down here, everything is looking like it could be very likely to continue higher. If we go down onto the 15-minute time frame, okay, locally more of a downtrend. Whereas price come into, you've got a 15-minute order block right here. Okay, so a little bit of a pause before the big drop that we had yesterday afternoon. And if we go from our previous day high to our previous day low, we draw our Fibonacci retracements once again onto this, then we are in that golden pocket zone. So some local resistance to be aware of. What would be really nice for myself, what I would quite like to see, is for this to just come down, probably pop back into this reference that we've got. So this is where we've been holding. So I'd like to see price pop back into this area, potentially start to test this wick, but I don't want to see it go too deep into it. Otherwise we end up looking at another, like taking out the lows type of thing. And then we have the opportunity to be looking for movement higher once again on this. So yeah, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it is an uptrend. And short positions, whilst very, very reasonable to be able to take short positions here, I am looking for longs and buying the dip. Okay, you're getting a decent reaction off of this. Okay, you're over 4% up from this as a bounce. And it took a long time to get that corrective move. So these corrective moves are stuff that they're good opportunities, in my opinion. What did we also have there? Was this coming down around that 1-to-1? So you also had that as some confluence. So that means that an ABCD correction with 1, 2, 3, 4 coming down. And then if this can hold, then once again, we are looking at higher. If we are to start closing, let's say we do start to drop down into this a little bit, losing daily open. Okay, you can come down into this, but then you want to reclaim it quite quickly. You want to use this 35,300 as a decent reference level down to around about that 35K. If we start to close like 1 hour, 4-hour candles down there again, and we're hovering around that NPOC, look for divergences, I guess, around there. We could have a situation where we're just holding and that can build enough momentum for a move higher. But at that stage, I think you'd be looking at this. You want to see strength from here fairly soon. And if we are to hold down here for too long, then yeah, we are looking at that daily level lower and then coming down to drop more into just a range. Okay, so we're in a trending environment right now. But if that fails, then we just look to start to trade this as a range, with this becoming the new high of the range. And where are the lows of the range? At the moment, they're down here. So can we look for that to extend beyond slightly, dropping down into these single prints around to that 32K area where you have this impulse where it really started. We've got all of this area back here to fill in. So that even like 30,800 to 32K. And then we look to trade this as a range once again after that. That is basically, yeah, the plan and the idea for myself. So remain with a bullish bias. You only need to look at what the legacy markets are doing right now, just melting up. And if we are to look at what altcoins are doing, I'm not going to be on here for too long. But once again, this is my watch list. This is the alts that I'm in, and it's all green again today. So yeah, it's a bull market. And you just have to trade it as such until we have a reason to think otherwise. And yeah, on that note, I'm going to wrap it up here. Please, any questions that you do have, any thoughts that you do have, please type them in the comments below. I will get back to you. And if there's anything that you'd like me to have a look at, I'd like to do some more altcoin charting videos, maybe look at some fundamentals, that type of thing. Then again, ask away and I will do as much as I can with my little brain to help you. So thank you. Have a great day. Remember PPI data coming out later on, so that can cause a little bit more volatility within the market. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.